Welcome to today's special episode of Raiders of the Lost podcast. We're joined by Michael Strassner, star and co-writer of The Baltimorons, which was just in theaters and streaming right now. What's up, pal? Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Hey,
I
man.
really appreciate it. I mean, this is very cool, and big fan of the show, so very, very happy and grateful to be here.
Happy to have you here. It's funny, we were just chatting, and then we had to stop, and then
Correct.
pretend like we weren't chatting already, and get back into it.
We were chatting about modern cinema, and we were just quoting Anchorman before we started for our sound test.
Yep.
And we were talking about, we did an episode recently on comedies, and like what happened to comedy film. And you came up in comedy, obviously. Baltimorons is a comedy drama.
Yes.
Came up in Groundlings.
Yeah, yep. I was in the Sunday Company there. It's funny, we were having the pre-conversation podcast that everybody has where they're like, okay, now save for the podcast. This is like, save all this. So it's like, so when you get here, you should just kind of say like, how you doing? How was your morning?
But it's like I don't want to sound like a dick.
Yeah.
It's our
Don't
first
say
time
anything.
meeting.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Don't say anything to me.
Yeah, don't say anything film related because we're gonna gotta have it all on here.
We're divas.
But then you come in, like,
Yes.
these guys are kind of cold and assholes.
Yeah, wow.
Like, wow.
God, this
Didn't
guy
even
is
offer a coffee.
stiff. And he does comedy? Wow. Not very funny. I came up there and had the opportunity midway through my Sunday Company to audition for SNL and do all that whole thing and fly out to New York. And
What's that process like?
What year did you do that also?
that was 2017. It was the year Heidi Gardner got it. And
Okay.
Heidi is incredible.
Oh, she's great,
Very
yeah.
funny.
She's so funny. And she had an amazing run on SNL. And just she's going to blow up now, even more.
Yeah, she's in some movies that I've seen recently, yeah.
I think also she's about to do Scary Movie.
6?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
hell yeah.
we were
that's
talking about that
Can't wait for
yesterday.
Scary
Yeah.
Movie
We were
6.
talking about that.
I know, me too. I can't wait. But it was crazy. You know, we did a showcase at the Groundlings. And I felt pretty good about it. You know, I'm a big physical guy, so a lot of my comedy is very Farley-esque. And
Yeah, I got that with the Baltimorons. It
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
Farley mixed with Vegas Vacation, Clark Griswold.
Yes, yeah, little Chevy Chase as well. And I just I did the showcase. They told you, like, keep it under 5, and I think I kept it right around there. And then, 2 weeks later, I got a phone call that I was flying out to New York, and I was like, okay, wow. And they're like, just do your thing that you did at the showcase. So I, get to New York and stay in the hotel, like, right next to
Rockefeller.
30 Rock, thank you. And running my set over and over again, ran it with Heidi a bunch. Like, we were in each other's hotel rooms. And then my call time, I think, was like 2:50. So I got there at like 2:30. They put me in someone's dressing room. I think it was Melissa Villaseñora's at that time. And who's also great and hysterical. And I did classes with her at Groundlings years ago, too. And then this is where they start to get you, is the PA or whoever will come back and they'll be like, okay, so it's just going to be about like another like 10 more minutes. We're just kind of figuring it all out. You're running your set. An hour and a half goes by.
Oh my God.
And then
sweating.
Somebody comes in like, so sorry, we were on lunch. It'll just be another 10 minutes.
We got
on lunch.
sushi.
Yeah, exactly.
Korean
And then
barbecue, we were there for 2 hours.
Another 2 hours will go by, and you're like, what is happening? You're just in
God.
your head the whole
Oh my
time.
God.
And they're like, we're so sorry. We're back to probably like another hour or so. Then like 2 minutes later, they'll come in and be like, okay, we're ready for you. And they just want to throw you off
Yeah.
on all accounts.
That makes sense.
I did my thing. I got up on stage because they told you to walk out the door, and that's the door the host comes out every
Oh my
week.
God.
And I felt pretty good about it. I flew back home, and then I got a call 2 weeks later, and they were like, we want you to do a final test. And so I was like, okay, I'm moving to New York. This is what's going to happen. I mean,
I did it.
Lauren
clearly-
Michaels is adopting me.
Yeah. They need a big guy, and I feel like I fit that mold. Like, this is the time. And, thank God that it didn't happen because I was not sober at the time. And the movie, The Baltimorons, is very much the origin story of kind of how I got sober and also just kind of like what that first 6 months looked like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
our
amazing.
father's 40 years sober,
Yeah.
so it's
Are
like
you
something
serious?
that's always been
this,
around in our
this
lives.
July
too,
he was
yeah.
40 years.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
So we know that
Yeah.
world really well. Our dad would actually, when we were kids, he would take us to AA group
Usually if we
meetings.
got into trouble,
Yeah.
he'd be like, we're going to go to a meeting.
We would brew the coffee sometimes and help set everything up and
Eat those
yeah.
cookies.
Yeah.
Set up the chairs because sometimes it was in a huge, like gigantic church basement, and there would be like hundreds of people there. Sometimes smaller meetings. So we actually had a fair amount of experience in that world, even though we've never suffered from that. But we know so many people who have.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would have love to have some. I mean, literally, when I got in trouble, it was like, I'm joining a fraternity. Like that was my thinking. You know, like I
That'll keep me in check. Yeah.
I got in a hit and run. Oh yeah, I think the next thing I should do is go party with a bunch of dudes at college. Hit and run, by the way. I did not hurt anybody. I hit a fire hydrant and then ran on foot.
It came out of nowhere.
It
came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. Truly, I was like, "Holy shit, it's raining."
Where'd the hydrant come from?
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally a movie sketch right there.
Exactly.
And that's
truly.
crazy. The Baltimorons like loosely based off your own experiences in your own life. Were any of the bits from the movie from your life in terms of like breaking into the towing area and stuff like that?
No. So
I don't want you to get arrested, but
no. I mean, there's definitely like the opening scene, which is the failed suicide attempt. That is how I got sober. You know,
Wow,
that is
gotcha.
I had a really, just drunk day, and my best thinking was to go downstairs and try to not be on the planet anymore. And the best thing that ever happened that was in the movie too is the belt broke because I was holding a bit of holiday weight. and when I told Jay that, he smiled and laughed, and I was like, "You can laugh, it's okay. I'm here, and I'm so happy that I'm here because that next day I asked for help, and that's very much the origin of the story, of course, and then the sketch part of it. Jay and I actually that's a reshoot scene because we shot it and it was good, but it wasn't great. And Jay is very much like, I want to make an A+ movie every time I get the chance, and I think he does that. And we reshot that scene, and that scene, the genesis of that improv is I used to go do a 2-man show, but it was just me on stage. So I would go on stage and say. I think I called myself like the Cowboys or whatever. And they're like, bring on up Earl and Dave, the Cowboys. And I would go up on stage and I was like, hey, actually, just Earl here. My partner in crime, Dave, he was eating street meat and had a heart attack right before the show. And he's in Cedars-Sinai right now. But he would always say, perform no matter what. So I need to find somebody here in the audience to do this with. And I would find the person that looks so afraid to do improv and bring that person on stage. So I told Jay that story, and he's like, I think that's kind of what Dee Dee will be, because she's clearly not going to have any idea what improv is.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring her up that way. And also, the reason why we also had to reshoot that scene is, early in the movie, Cliff kind of saves the day for Dee Dee at Conway's house, and also just to kind of let you know what the movie's about. It's about a guy, just midway through, it's important to kind of know. A guy cracks his tooth on Christmas Eve, and he spends his whole entire Christmas Eve with his emergency dentist. He's also like a recently sober guy. So it's kind of that 6 months of, and we find him at 6 months of sobriety. So he saved the day for her, so now she has to save the day for him at the improv scene, because that's like his heart of darkness place where he goes.
Yeah, and it's the way you said that Jay laughed. You said it's okay to laugh because that opening scene, it's so dark and serious, but I did laugh when you fell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It played so well for a laugh. And there's a couple of other jokes in the movie that are like, is it okay to laugh at this? And I think it's okay to let people know that it is to laugh when it's done the right way and it's structured the right way like the film does.
100%. I mean, we were in South by Southwest where we premiered, and I'm sitting next to Jay at the premiere, and he says, if we have him laughing by the first 5 minutes, we're in a good spot. And luckily, when the belt breaks and I fall, there was like a big laughter.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're okay. And, we got really lucky, and we won the audience award there. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we went on to win like another 6 or 7 audience awards where we played other festivals.
It's a crowd pleaser. And we were saying this felt like the kind of like comedy that we grew up watching from the 90s and early 2000s. And we don't get movies like this that often. And I just felt like a nostalgia for it, even though it's a new film. I felt like it was a movie I saw when I was a teenager.
The Holdovers, same effect.
Yeah.
Did you guys shoot on film? What did you guys shoot on?
We shot on 2 Sony FX6s.
Okay.
And then lenses that we just kind of like went out. I mean, Jay had 2 cameras.
Yeah.
So we went back to Jay wanted to go back to his puffy chair days and be like, we're shooting something based on your story, and we're going to back it in with locations that you have in Baltimore for free. So every location that you saw there, was free.
Amazing.
We didn't pay for any of them. The dentist office is my biology teacher from high school. He
So it was just homie
Literally.
string pulling the whole time.
It was, like Dave Bonnet, who was our producer on the ground, who's also a buddy of mine from high school. He lives there, and him and I came up with these, just like a list of locations that we had for free. And then Jay and I kind of backed in the story around those locations.
Smart.
And, Jay and I also, like, we kept saying we're writing a movie we want to see that we feel like we haven't seen in a while. There's an After Hours vibe to it. There's
Sure, yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There's a Harold and Maude. There's a Before Sunset. There's the shittiest Ocean's 11 heist in the world when I get my Cadillac back. That's very much what Jay and I. We just wrote what we wanted to see, and like. It's funny, we've been kind of doing this little tour, and we've been saying like nobody was asking for a suicide, mental health, alcoholism, menopause, improv, and sketch comedy film.
Holiday movie.
Yeah, holiday movie. But that's what they got, and and to your point, I've been at all these film festivals, and so many people have come up to me afterwards and like, I just have watched so many serious movies at this film festival.
Yes.
Your film was such a palate cleanser of like
Exactly.
laughter and like what I needed. And like, yes, very much, that Holdovers feel from a couple of years ago of like comedy drama that makes you laugh and makes you just like feel,
And also your character is this like almost endless optimist in a lot of ways. And I really liked him. He was this guy, and but he also has the conflict in the past that he's running away from, and in a way, maybe he's distracting himself with what's happening now to avoid that. But I love the optimist characters in this film.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's very much probably based on my, optimism a little bit.
You got a great optimist vibe about you.
Yeah,
I'd say.
100%. Thank you. And it's very much that first 6 months of sobriety where. For me, it was like learning how to crawl, and that's what I told Jay. I was like, when I first got sober, I was afraid I wasn't going to be funny anymore, that my life was over, and that I had no friends, and who would want to hang out with me because I'm sober. Because so much of my identity was being the party guy, being the guy that, would be, naked at a party for no, unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, because those are my heroes too, like Chris Farley and John Belushi and Robin Williams, and what helped me so much in early recovery was I was actually reading the Chris Farley Show book, and it was written by his brother Tom, and the opening of the book starts out with him talking to a rehab. I had no idea that Chris Farley was ever sober. And the last line of the opening is, if I can stay sober and have this amount of time, anyone can. And it kind of struck me as like, damn, like he tried at it. And like, why don't I try this? You know, he's my hero and he tried. And like, and he had success, like he had success with it. 18 months is a lot of time, to be sober. And it just gave me hope.
That's amazing. I mean, Farley, what a legend. I mean, I feel bad for the younger kids. They didn't grow up with Farley on SNL and Farley movies. We were just talking about Tommy Boy and Black Sheep the other day, Beverly Hills Ninja.
Tommy Boy is, I remember watching that like 100 times when I was a kid.
It's on TV all the
watched
time.
It was
Those
on
our
Comedy
brothers
Central
all the time.
time.
Yeah.
And I would just, every time it was on, I would watch it. And like, it's such a simple story that's just so, and I mean, talk about like based on someone's life. Like, it's based on, him and his dad. And his dad was like a salesman like that, not tire salesman, but like, or
Brake pads.
Gotcha. Callahan Auto Parts. But it's like based on that relationship.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's truth in this. And looking back on it, like it's just such, and like also what I also realized after reading the book is he was completely sober shooting that.
Wow.
And so like his greatest like movie that he did was sober.
His best bits, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of his best bits.
I always try to think of like the kinds of movies he would have made and how would he fit in comedy today?
Oh my God.
Because you see like Spade and Sandler and how they've grown and how they've adjusted. And, Spade doesn't really do movies that often anymore, probably because, Farley was his guy. They were like producing, creative partners. And then Sandler's just had such huge success, and Chris Rock kind of comedy movies still here and there, but mostly stand-up specials. But I wonder what Farley would be doing with his career. If
Well,
he's
I
still
know he
with
was
us.
testing for Shrek.
Yeah,
like,
that's
there's,
right.
there's the audio version
Yeah.
of like his Shrek, and they were also working on years ago before he died. I think like the Fatty Arbuckle Fatty Arbuckle biography or whatever biopic of that, and like I don't know. You watch some of his acting in Tommy Boy, it's really great. Like
He's
he's
awesome.
connected and
Fearless.
he's crying and he's having emotional moments, and yeah, it makes me wonder. Like, I think he would have been an incredible dramatic actor, and like, but
If
I
the
think-
right role
yeah.
comes around,
Yeah, I think he could have done something like The Whale.
yeah.
What that Brendan Fraser did. I think he absolutely would have been. He would have translated really because those guys and gals can do dramatic acting so well. Because we were talking about how comedies have changed, especially like the last 10 years, and you're not getting these like many of these like character actors, these great comedic performers. It's more of so just like actors who are just given funny lines to say, and it's not driven by performance anymore. It's not driven by character anymore. And jokes have just become funny movies. Just become sarcastic quips sprinkled throughout the script, but not really. It's not really a bit. And I think we've just been struggling like to understand why comedies have changed. Why aren't we getting that many more of them? And why has comedic acting changed so much?
I mean, that's the age-old question right now. Is like, are we taking ourselves way too seriously? Is comedy, and it's especially like I think The Naked Gun did a phenomenal job
Yeah.
this summer of
So
like
fun.
having like this is and they went for it on jokes.
Yeah.
Where I'm like 2025, I'm like, okay, yeah.
It felt like
We're
watching that
we're
movie
almost
like
back.
Big
Yeah.
Brother's like, can I laugh at this? Is this okay? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I saw which is coming out next year, but I saw Nirvana the band, the movie at South by Southwest. It's Matt Johnston, I think his name is. He did Blackberry, and it was like it was full on funny as shit in an audience. Like people were dying laughing. I'm interested to see what this movie does because it's funny and it pushes boundaries and it's it's all the things that I feel like those comedies from the 90s had and 2000s. Like I look back at the summer of 2005. I think it was Wedding Crashers, 40-Year-Old
hits.
Virgin.
Oh man.
I think Superbad was 07.
Yeah.
But like those, and then like even The Hangover in 2008. Like I remember watching the trailer for The Hangover and I'm like, who are these guys? And then like, Zach Galifianakis was not famous at this time. He had done Out Cold, which I recognized him from.
Yeah, that's right. He's the
And-
drunk guy in alcohol.
And
yeah.
I was like, he was so funny in Out Cold. And, I was like, oh, thank God he's finally doing something else. And that comedy was like, it was hysterical.
Yeah.
So good.
And it made the most money ever for an R-rated comedy, or I think R-rated movie, and at that time. And it's like, because I think people weren't so, and I hate to be that, but like sensitive around everything. And like, even like The Office and like those type of like, can we go back to, or not go back, but can we just laugh at everything? And like everything's on the table and we know that we're coming from a place of like, it's just like,
It's just jokes.
it's just jokes.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings
yeah,
or anything.
And you addressed it in the movie too during the improv sequence. Like,
Yeah.
it's just comedy. But I mean, we talk about how preferences have changed, audience preferences have changed, comedy changes what people accept as comedy, so we have to account for that. But still, I think there's been like a release of tension this year. I mean, Friendship was another great comedy this year. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah. Saw it top by.
Fantastic.
It was great.
So original, so surreal, and so interesting. And, there's always different types of comedy. And I think it blended so well with like what we're missing. Like your movie was something that, or like you said, a palate cleanser. It's like, oh, it's okay to laugh. It's okay to have a good time.
Yeah, because there's some very serious subject matter that
Yeah.
that we're bringing up in this movie that has laughter all around it. Like I'm so happy Jay, let me have so many physical bits in it that
The
like
brick, when you tripped on the
Oh my
brick and
God,
broke your
I
toe
jumped.
in your tooth, that was like, I thought in my head that looked just like Farley doing a bit.
Yeah.
It was
That-
so great.
that one is always fun because the editor Jay Duplass he would always put that, like he would always have that clip in anything that he sent Jay and I, just because he was always so proud of that pratfall, which always just meant the world. It meant the world to me.
Stuck in the seatbelt too, like stuff like that.
Oh
So
God,
funny.
so
But my mom was actually on set because my mom, there's nepotism all over this movie. My mom's in it, my dad's in it.
Of course you got to roll in
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Oh my God.
I was auditioning for that part.
Exactly. My niece is in it. She plays Maddie. My fiance Jess. She plays Dee Dee's daughter, so my love interest's daughter is
okay.
my
That's so
fiance.
cute.
Yeah. But my mom was on set that day because she was playing Darlene, Brittany's mom.
Gotcha.
And
She was great.
she was great.
great.
She's great. And there's a funny South by story that I'll tell too. But she kept saying, like, Michael, I swear to God, if you knock out one of your goddamn teeth, like your Uncle Dwayne put so much money into, like he didn't charge us for dental stuff, and you need to like make sure you're, because she really thought, I was like, Mom, I know what I'm doing, like I'm not a stunt performer, but I know that I'm not gonna actually hurt myself. And then at South by, I was sitting, she was over 2 seats next to me, and you know she comes onto the screen like 5 minutes in, and we're watching the movie. And she comes on screen, and she just goes, "Oh!" And I was like, "Do you forget you were in it, Mom? Like, what are you doing?"
That's what I look like.
Yeah. And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm on the big screen."
Oh, that's sweet.
We put our parents in movies in the
Yeah,
past when we've
yeah.
done indie films. But I mean, it kind of connects to what you were talking about earlier with like, you know, shooting in Maryland, places you know, shooting super low budget places for free.
Oh, yeah.
People ask us all the time. I mean, we've only made 4 films, 1 feature, 3 shorts, and people are like inspired by our filmmaking, which is really incredible. And they ask us like, hey, any advice? What should you do? It's like, just get out there and do it. I mean, you can figure it out. And Hollywood seems to have forgotten, like, you don't need $30 million to make a comedy anymore.
No.
You can just get out there. You don't have to shoot in New York, which has now become Glasgow, Scotland. You know, you can shoot in Maryland. And look, I don't know anything about Baltimore besides Logic is from there and then the sports teams.
Yeah.
But like, that's about all I know. But like, I'm immersed in Maryland, in Baltimore. I'm like, I want to go to Baltimore now, you know?
Right? Find people who want to make a movie and go make that movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. You know, that's what I've learned from shooting this movie is, you know, we made this for a very low amount, and on the backs of the people in the city of Baltimore. Like I said, like, I mean, even like the Cadillac and the Mercedes, like Mercedes is owned by a guy that works with my mom at the funeral home. And she was like, my son's looking to borrow a Mercedes. Can he borrow yours? And he was like, yeah, sure. For how long? I was like, a month. And he's like, I'll walk to work. It's okay.
Oh my God.
And that's Chuck Giddings. He was, incredible.
Your mom works at a funeral home? And so
yeah.
our father sells tombstones for a living.
Oh
so.
my God. Are we brothers?
Are we connected? I mean,
we grew
maybe.
up like going to funeral homes and cemeteries
All the
It's
time.
incredible. It's
pretty wild.
Yeah, I've got a lot of funeral homes scripts coming down the pipe.
The mortician.
Exactly.
This episode is also brought to you by our great friends at movieposters.com. Use our code Raiders10 at checkout from movieposters.com. They gave us this amazing Avatar Fire and Ash poster over my right shoulder. We also have an affiliate link with movieposters.com. Use that link in the episode description, then use the code Raiders10 at checkout. We get a commission, you get 10% off in an amazing poster.
It doesn't, and especially with cameras that are, I don't think, in my opinion, like, and I've also met so many people on these film festival circuits that are like, oh yeah, we just shot with this and a mic on top, and we played Sundance, like Albert Burney, who did Obex. I don't know if you've seen that yet. It was at Sundance this past year. Another Maryland guy. I met him in Poland with Pete O's, who directed a couple other movies this year. He did the True Beauty of Being Bit by a Tick. But they just go out and shoot movies. That's like it's a small crew, and it's like, and he's like, I figured out how to do it, and I'll get actors together, and we'll just make something. And like, I don't know, like it's not, and he doesn't shoot on a 6K, because that's what we were talking about beforehand too. Like, you don't need that. Like, I want to go to the movies and feel like I'm transported to a time, and I feel like with some of the stuff that's seen now, they're not taking the time to do that.
100%. I went to the AFI Film Festival a couple weeks ago, and one of the films that played there is a Romanian film shot on an iPhone. I didn't even, and while I was playing, I was like, what camera did they use for this?
Which iPhone?
iPhone 16.
Wow.
Yeah, and it
One,
looked great.
iPhone 1.
Yes.
Which was, did they
brick,
start at
yeah,
one, or was
yeah,
it like?
It was actually it was an iPod 3. And it was like, you don't need as much as you think you need to make a movie. And I'm curious, how did you get linked up with the Duplass boys, Jay and Mark? We love them. We've been fans of theirs for a while.
They are incredible. I'm sure they would both love to be on this.
Yeah, dude, yeah, we'd love to have them on, yeah.
They're awesome. Jay, he basically told me during the pandemic in 2020, he filtered his Instagram down to just comedy Instagram.
So smart.
So smart. He was like, I can't be watching all this other stuff. So one day he came across my video. I think it was my Buffalo Bill talking to my Alexa. Sorry, not my Buffalo Bill. Me playing Buffalo Bill talking to Alexa.
So you're doing sketch videos and stuff?
Yeah.
at the time?
So I was in a pink robe and I was dancing to Goodbye Horses. And I was like, Alexa, where can I buy skin? And then Alexa would respond back and be like, you can get skincare product. I'm like, no, human skin, Alexa. And then I was kind of keep dancing. And Jay saw it one day and he followed me, and I was like, and I'd been following Jay for years.
Yeah, they're
and
great,
I saw that he
man.
followed me, and I was like, holy shit, Jay Duplass follows me. Like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I've read Like Brothers about like 10,000 times about how to make a movie. I've given it to people to be like, hey, this is the blueprint. You know, can we do this? And I loved Puffy Chair. I remember watching Jeff Who Lives at Home down in Venice when I first moved out here. And I was like, this is the stuff I want to do, like these human stories.
Yeah.
And so I think like I was following for a couple weeks, and then I just was like, you know what? I'm going to send him a DM. I'm trying to shoot this short film, and I'm looking for an actress, and maybe he can help me. And I sent him a DM. I sent him how big of a fan I've been, all this. If you're able to help me, awesome. If not, even if you just read this, it'd be super cool. He got back to me 6 months later. And
Isn't it hidden?
yeah. No, he was like, I thought DMs were for sex.
That's the second message you sent.
Exactly, yeah. And then I was like, hit me at this number.
You should have linked up with me on Tinder.
Yeah,
Man.
exactly. But he got back to me and he's like, I think you're super funny, dude. Please send it to me. I sent it back to him. And then he was like, come over to my house. And I was like, I'm a stranger from the internet. Okay. And this is kind of
Can you pick up my girl from school?
Yeah. Well, I show up to his house. Like, my car hasn't had AC for years, and we live in LA. And
Oh, my
sometimes
God.
we have hot days.
That's rough.
So I'm driving this Volkswagen, and it's got leather seats, and I'm sweating by the time so I take my shirt off, and I'm just driving on the highway completely shirtless, going to see Jay Duplass. And when I get to his house, I have an extra shirt there because I know
You're prepared.
I know the drill. So I'm wiping myself down with one shirt, and then
He's got dishes outside.
well, and then I think I made too much ruckus, and he comes out, and he's like, Michael? And I was like, hey, Jay, good to see you.
You didn't park like down the block.
No.
Yours on his
Very
Nest
dumb.
camera.
So Jay was like, it is for sex.
Yeah, exactly. You are going to come here and do something.
I knew it.
Yeah. But I was like, I'm just drying off, bud, but I'll be in a second. And so and this is the thing that gets me is like, people in Hollywood don't do what Jay and Mark do.
Yeah.
Jay took time out of his day for a stranger to literally help him get his short film going, And I asked him down the road, I was like, why, do you get a lot of, and he's like, I get messages all the time about people asking me to get coffee and pick my brain and all this stuff. You came to me with something that you wanted to do and shoot. And so I can help you with that. I can't help you with, getting that's not, it's Jay and Mark's whole thing. Like, make movies, not meetings, And so I made that short film. And I showed it to him, and again, he took time out of his day again and helped me with an edit. And as a thank you, I took him to lunch at the end of 2022, and I told him my story about how I got sober. And after that lunch, I wrote on my manifestations for 2023. Number 2 was shoot a movie with Jay Duplass.
Nice.
Number 1 is always stay sober, because without that, I don't have anything. So he called me 5 months later, and he was like, I want to back in someone's life into a movie. You're the first person that came to mind. You want to do it.
That's
Wow,
amazing, man.
So you made a movie from an Instagram DM.
Correct.
Basically.
That's insane.
That
and
is-
talent, amazing.
Yes,
Talent,
yeah.
But it's crazy. But it was just an Instagram DM that you just put out into the universe just to see what would happen. That's crazy.
And that has kind of been my, like, I got to throw a first pitch at the Orioles game because I sent a DM.
Saw that. It's so cool.
I got to be at the Ravens game because I sent a DM. Like,
Ray Lewis tackled you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
I have a fake leg now. Yeah.
and the worst thing anyone's gonna say is no.
Yeah.
So it's like you might as well just try and put yourself out there, but also put yourself out there after you've done some work. You know, Jay has said the reason why I responded to you is because you were putting up content all the time, and you're putting up videos, and you're making people laugh. Like, you were doing stuff. I'm not gonna respond to someone who's just like not doing. Like, I think with this career now, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk about it all the time how like Hollywood and then content creation are sort of forging. There's like a tunnel being created where, I mean, you're a comedian, groundlings, improv, sketch, stand-up, I'm sure, and then you're also COVID lockdown, just putting up videos, and look what happens. And it's kind of like that bridge is being created where just because you're making content on social media, if you got something to say, there's no reason no one else wants to see it.
Exactly. And it's just like, and what's great about social media is like people will let you know, like, if it's funny or not.
Yeah.
Like, you have an audience. So,
You have analytics to see what
exactly.
is this getting, how long are people watching this movie? What's the retention rate? And it's a great feedback loop.
Yeah. And, I think that, there's got to be, this is just completely different, but like there's got to be a movie boom again where people just want to go to the theaters again, laugh with strangers, and enjoy a movie with an audience.
I agree.
Yeah, I think people want more relatable stories back. We've been through 10 and a half years of just the gigantic movies.
That's been 25 years of just superhero.
It's just, you can have fun with that, but you can't really emotionally connect to it. It's not, the world, there's no superpowers around you. There's no like aliens around you. So every movie can't be like that.
Yeah.
We need more of the movies of the 2000s that we grew up with where it's mid-range budget, it's more human stories, and it can be an action movie, or it can be a fantasy movie, or it can be a comedy, and it's more relatable. And yes, you can still have Spider-Man. We had Spider-Man and Batman, and we loved it, but we would see all sorts of movies like every weekend. We had a great new option for a different kind of movie.
Well, and I think what's been so great is this year, Sinners.
Oh yeah.
And Weapons have, I would love if an original comedy came out that like got
huge numbers.
That's like the big hope. But the fact that these two original ideas, because that's another thing, is like you guys used to take chances on like Ghostbusters wasn't anything before Ghostbusters. Like take that, like do more original ideas, because I feel like people are tired of the same stories over again. Like we don't need to continually have a reboot.
IP obsession.
sequels.
I mean, everyone wants to keep their job in Hollywood, and
Correct.
If you can get a better ROI guarantee to get a greenlit, sure. But back to the Baltimorons real quick. So your character is kind of like Murphy's Law of everything that can go wrong in a funny way goes wrong consistently. And after hearing your story about being shirtless in front of Jay Duplass' house, does stuff like that happen to you regularly, like kind of inspired like a lot of those bits in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, when Mark saw the first cut of the movie, he said, "You realize you have a live-action Charlie Brown with Michael Strassner as Charlie Brown going through Baltimore." And we were gonna literally when I did that shirt thing, he was like, "Well, that's gonna go in a movie with us someday."
Seriously, yeah.
The music was Charlie Brown-esque.
I almost cried laughing just hearing about it.
I got Charlie Brown music vibes.
Well, yeah, so Jay actually put in temp Vince Guaraldi music to give to our composer, and we got so lucky. Shuli Harrell, who was our line producer on it, or just executive producer, works at Duplass. She's incredible. She found this composer, Jordan Siegel, who currently is the pianist for Apple's Peanuts.
Wow.
And people have come up to Jay and been like, "What is that deep Vince Guaraldi track that you have in this, we never heard before?" And we just used music that was from the public domain that he made jazz into it. Again, to make things affordable. How can you be clever with this? But to go back to your question, Yeah, like I get my foot in my mouth all the time, and and I'm constantly just sweating and being a maniac.
He's switched shirts 3 times already.
Yeah, truly. Last night I was at a buddy's house and I just sang the opening number to 8 Crazy Nights with him, and he's like, "What's wrong with you?"
It's a good movie, man.
Oh, it's great.
Banger,
Yeah. It's an
Good
hour,
movie.
12 minutes, get you in and out.
Wow, I forgot how short that was.
Yeah,
That
really
seems like
Good.
an
I
eternity when
forgot
we were
about
kids.
that one. That
Yeah.
was a good
I
one.
mean, Sandler was king when we were younger. Because
Oh,
what
yeah.
were you, 90s kid?
Yeah, I was born in '89.
90. So like
Yeah.
Sandler was like our guy for so many
Oh, yeah.
so many movies that whole
I mean,
decade.
you think about that, like, his stats in the box office in the 90s and 2000s, the only movie that, didn't make over 100 million, which was, I think for statistics now, that'd be,
Just for
300,
inflation,
yeah,
yeah.
300
least,
or 400.
At least.
Was Little Nicky.
Yeah, Little Nicky, that's it.
And 8
Yeah.
Crazy Nights.
Yeah,
And
that's different though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, every movie he came out with, I'll go back and watch Mr. Deeds or Big Daddy and, just laugh my face off with, these Steve Buscemi cameos.
Yeah.
And,
The
you know,
Waterboy.
yeah,
we watched The
Waterboy.
Waterboy a lot.
His
That
star
was,
power was so big that the animated movie, the character looked like him.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't
100%.
happen. Like
Yeah.
sometimes they'll take idiosyncrasies of someone's face to make them the cartoon character they're playing.
Yeah,
but
Shrek
it was
didn't
him.
look like,
Yeah, like
Mike
Mike Myers.
Myers, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He looks
It's,
like
it's
Sandler.
literally Sandler. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How
Plays
big-
basketball.
You have to be that big to get that. But I mean, and also his DVD sales were probably
yeah.
insane off the charts.
Oh my
every time I
God.
went to a buddy's house, we were talking about it. You go you're 10, you're sleeping over, you're watching Big Daddy or Happy Gilmore on DVD.
Well, yeah, and you look at Austin Powers,
So good.
they had a full trilogy for a comedy, which is
Genius though.
crazy. I think the last trilogy for a comedy was The Hangover,
Yeah.
and that was close to 10 years ago.
That's a good point.
So it's
They used to do. We were saying they used to do sequels on DVD, and those
Yeah.
would be successful. They wouldn't even play in theaters, but they would just be produced just for DVD sales.
100%.
And we would rent them at Blockbuster or buy them.
and I think that's what also probably I think the fact that DVDs have gone extinct now.
Yeah. We try to keep that alive as best we can. We told you there's a store called Vidiots in
Oh, yeah.
in LA that's great. We rent movies there all the time.
So they had our premiere, and we're doing a
nice.
Christmas screening there on December 1st. I don't know if it's going to be
Wow.
if this is going to be
no
out by
way.
then. But yeah.
We're going to Avatar premiere. Sorry.
Okay, that's. I mean, you guys literally just showed me a picture of James Cameron.
with us.
Yeah, with it. Yeah.
Anyone can show you a picture of James
Yeah,
Cameron.
yeah. I was like, yeah.
Just James Cameron.
No. They literally just showed me
He's
a picture.
like,
And I
okay.
was like, yeah, I know who that is. James Cameron. Why did you show me this?
What's this have to do with
Yeah,
anything?
yeah,
I thought you'd like it.
Yeah.
But Vidiots is great.
I love it.
We
Yeah.
have a
there's-
James Cameron shelf there. Yeah, we sponsored that.
Yeah, and I just
Really?
love
Yeah,
going there.
it's cool.
And I tell people that I rented, what you still rent it? I'm like, it's the best. People, and then when I tell the people, they wish they could do it because they usually don't live in that area. You don't want to have to drive 30 minutes to go rent a movie. I get it, but it's just great browsing through the shelves. They have 4K to DVD. They have everything, new movies, old movies, and
That's awesome.
it's just magical walking through there. And sometimes I go with an intention of a movie to get, but sometimes I just walk around and browse shelves and pull something I've never even heard of. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think my big thing for 2026 is and I've told my fiance this, so I'm gonna try to really hold myself to it. But I want to basically turn my phone off on Saturday or Sunday, and just be phone for so I can maybe watch a movie on streaming and not be distracted. I want these times where I feel like as much as the phones are so great and everything, it's a terror on your whole entire day.
Oh, yeah.
And it is super distracting when you go to a movie theater, and I think we need to bring that experience back a little bit where we're not just that's another reason why people I'm not paying $40 to be distracted by somebody on their phone or
crazy.
Yeah.
to be people talking throughout.
Yeah, I feel as though it's the theater etiquette. It gets worse every year.
Yeah.
The thing is, 95% of people are really great and quiet,
100%.
and very respectful. But then, if you're in an opening night packed theater, there's going to be a handful of people that are talking or on their phone, and I feel like it never used to be like that. It used to be very rare, but now it seems like every screening I go to, if it's an earlier, more packed screening, there seems to always be someone on their phone or talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is what it is, but especially with comedies, it can be very distracting because
Yeah.
if you miss a good joke, it's that's why I'm here, is to get the
100%.
punchline. You know what I mean? It's the worst
100%.
thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, movie etiquette, I wonder if has it always been this bad? I think the phones are out more often, and I can't stand you know, when someone's on their phone during a movie and I can see it in my peripheral, oh my God, it blows my.
Yeah.
I look
Drives
for
me
people
crazy.
to put it
Grinds
away.
my gears.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a good person to go to the movies with because he'll talk to them before me.
I'm the
Yeah.
police.
So-
Yeah, I'm pretty intimidating too, and I've given a couple, like, especially like some people in their 20s. Like, I think I was in what was the one with Demi Moore, Substance, last year. The person next to me kept on talking to her, and I literally was like, if you talk again, we're gonna have problems. And they just stopped. And so I think I'm a little bit intimidating now, so that feels good.
You know, when I was watching the movie, I was like, "This guy is he like 6'5" or I can't. You look massive. Also, Liz is pretty short and petite.
Yes. Well, Liz is 4'2", and I'm.
Oh, she's tiny.
No, Liz I think is like 5'2",
Yeah.
and I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
So it's a nice.
You're a
little-
nice 6 foot.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
thought
nice 6
Andre the
foot,
Giant was gonna walk into the studio today. I'm like, oh, he looks
Yeah.
massive on camera.
Yeah, it's been fun when we meet people on Zoom and you're like, oh man, like that's how tall you are. You know.
Some people look big on camera, some people look short, but no. I mean,
My one friend Evan, when I first met him in person, I was just like, oh really? And he hated that comment.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
it's all, man. That's it.
Yeah.
And then the Duplass bros we're huge fans of theirs, but like independent film in general, like Joe Swanberg's another indie filmmaker and
Yeah.
director we've always been watching for years now. And I mean, that guy's been churning out independent film for over a decade now that I wish people would explore more of, especially in American cinema. Like we said, like so many big blockbuster stuff gets made overseas, a lot of smaller budget stuff and human stories get told, which we're missing in America right now.
And he was great. I mean, he moderated our Q&A in Chicago
Oh,
on,
wow.
our opening weekend. We sold out the Music Box Theater, and Chicago knew how to, like, there was, I would say next to Baltimore, Chicago was the best theater experience we had with, like, they were laughing at everything, and you're like, damn, they're having fun. But Joe said something really great. He was like, and it was, he said it because it was a compliment to me, but
He looks like he's
yeah.
6'4".
No, but he was saying he's like, don't get me wrong, I love all these actors that I love to go see and pay money for, and you know, but it's so nice to see two people who I don't know who they are, and just kind of blow me away with their performances and be like, who the hell are these people? And I feel like we live in this time where, like, how many movies, you know, is Jared Leto need to be in?
Yeah.
When
We haven't found that answer
Yeah,
yet.
exactly. You know, so it's like, can we, like, should Hollywood also be taking more of a chance on people that are not?
10 million on Instagram,
10
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Or like
I get that, yeah.
they're not a 10 out of 10. We talk about
You're
this a
9
lot.
out of 10. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
You're
That's it.
6.4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm very low on the 10 scale.
We talk about this a lot of how like everybody just seems like, yes, there's always been beautiful actors, but it seems like everybody in every movie is like a knockout.
Yeah.
And it takes you out of like
Reality.
believing it, because it's like most people are just people. No friend group is all 10s.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
I was watching a horror movie earlier this year. It was an exorcism film, and it takes place in like North Dakota, 1920s, and there's like 5 nuns. 4 of them are like in their 20s, all 10 out of 10. And I'm like, where's
Nuns in the
Yeah.
20s?
What town is this in?
Where is
like,
this
where
nunnery?
is
This is not.
That took me
Yeah.
out of the movie though.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it's a pretty solid horror movie, but like that whole film I kept watching and I'm like, the nuns are too hot, but it's like they look like they know what a smartphone is. You know what I mean? And they're too
And we wanted to, again, like Jay wanted to cast real people in this. Like we
Yeah.
don't, I mean, like how does this person, how does Dee Dee actually look, you know, if she's from Baltimore and a dentist? And
Conway felt like a very like I feel like I've met a Conway.
yes,
that
100%.
guy like
Brian
looked
Mendez
right.
did incredible. Like, you know, it's like people that just look like human beings. And I feel like that's, and what's been so rewarding too is being on these film festivals tour and seeing all these really great movies that I think we had an amazing year for independent movies.
Yeah.
Really great ones that like I was so fortunate to like see Twinless at the Nantucket Film Festival, and James Sweeney it was so kind and so great, and his movie's really funny and great. And another one was like Alexi Wasser did Messy, which like played really small independent circuit, but like so funny. And yeah, like Pito and like I think there's this up and coming one where it's like, no, we're gonna make these movies. We're gonna figure out a way to make them, and we're gonna figure out a way to get them seen. And independent film is not dead. it's coming alive because the next generation, I feel like, does want to see movies again.
Mm-hmm. And not just independent horror, because we love horror.
Yes.
I want to do a horror ASAP, but like independent horror, it feels like it's taking like a big chunk of the pie for independent film because it's easier to make. You have a more guaranteed return on investment. Studios are more likely, or investors are more likely to give you money because you can sell it a lot easier versus like a drama or a comedy made for under $1 million. No guaranteed you're going to even sell it. So I think that it's really important for movies like Baltimorons to come out in theaters and for people to know that they exist and that they actually get made.
Oh yeah, I mean we did great in theaters, which is kind of crazy. Like we had they originally were like and IFC was incredible distributor for it, and they were like, we're gonna give you at least 100 theaters. I'm like, okay, that's great,
awesome.
That's great. We got up to 500 because
that's
that is
awesome.
like people were itching it, and it had a great like first and second weekend because there wasn't that much competition in September. That like
There's no comedies.
Yeah, exactly. There's no comedy, so we got really lucky, and I think it made like $1 million, which is crazy for this little independent movie.
Made for like $30. I mean,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is so great.
$30 in my biology teacher's dental office.
Yeah, our friends Matt and Kevin McManus, they have a movie that's going to get put in theaters, 200 theaters. It just play at Southwest as well. South by Redux.
Oh yeah.
Awesome film. Really great guys, and we're so proud of them. Like a cool, super low budget science fiction action movie, and it's gonna get a 200 theater release, hopefully more. And it's just like really inspiring to see that you don't need $40 million to make even a sci-fi film.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it.
100%. And like, it's gonna take people that love movies and people that love seeing movies. You gotta go to the theaters to support these independent movies and not wait for them to just come on streaming. Like, if there's going to be a thriving independent film base still, it's got to come from the audience,
That's why the big studios need to stop committing to only the giant tentpole films, because a lot of people, for them, that's all there is that they'll pay money to see. So we need to get them used to seeing those older style movies again and make them be like, okay, I feel like, so for us, I get escapism just as much from watching your film as I do from a giant sci-fi blockbuster with CGI. The immersion still works just as much for either run, for me. But I think there's a lot of people out there, they're not movie people, so when they go to the movies, they want the big thing. They want the big, fantastical, immersive experience. But you can have that experience with smaller movies. So it's just, we need to get more of them out there for sure.
Bro, I watched Kramer for the first time this year.
It's great.
And it's just like the small independent film, obviously shot in New York a lot more affordably back then, but it's like just a character study of this guy and what's going on in his life. And it's so immersive, one of my favorite watches of the year. It was sensational.
Yeah.
It's like that's the kinds of movies that would kill at the box office and just everyone would see. It's fantastic. Obviously, you have two huge stars and actors in it, but I mean, where are those movies today?
And would Dustin Hoffman even be a leading man if he came out today?
Because he did that before Graduate or afterwards?
After
Graduate?
Yeah.
Graduate was his first.
68,
and then,
yeah.
He was
But
30.
that was like Kramer vs. Kramer, and then like Tootsie, and then all these movies. And, like, what are these movies today? Like you said, it's like,
They don't get made.
they don't get made.
Yeah, they don't get made.
Yeah, like
And-
what's the next 500 Days of Summer? Like that's a great comedy that I think stands out this century.
yeah.
So unique and creative. There's never really been anything like that in a while.
Well, I think the
Yeah.
main thing is, and I just lost my thought. So
Sorry,
yeah,
pal.
It's a great main thing,
Yeah, it
though.
was a great
For
main
me,
thing.
As,
yeah.
as
Oh my
far
God,
as
it
main
was-
things go, it's top tier, man.
It was so main that
Yeah.
it left my brain. But, God, what was it? Oh, you're talking about 5 Days of Summer. This is like the worst thing to happen on a podcast.
It's my fault. I interrupted you.
No. It's okay. Hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah, we'll move on, man.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about
savings.
What should we talk about?
no, we were talking about Kramer vs. Kramer and Dustin Hoffman, Graduate.
Kramer.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dustin Hoffman's one of the greatest actors of all time. It's undeniable. And the career he built, like Drugstore Cowboy, these movies, they do get made, but nobody sees
Midnight
them.
Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy.
Drugstore
sorry,
Cowboy
yeah.
is Matt Dillon.
It's, yeah,
that was
sorry.
great, though, too.
Drugstore Cowboy is
Film boy, film bro.
fucking
That's the thing we say in the show, film
Yeah.
boys.
what's his name made it?
Gus Van Sant. Yeah.
I just saw his new film.
Dead Man's
It's
Wire
so
was great.
good.
Austin is a friend of mine. He wrote it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I
And
went.
he's
great.
awesome.
It
Really
was
nice guy.
really cool,
Yeah.
and the footage they showed of the real events and all that real newsreel footage, I was like, wow, this is a crazy story. But Gus is awesome.
got
That's what
it.
it is. It's as long as these big budget movies keep not making their money back and their budgets being 300 and 400 and 500 million and they're not doing well, I think Hollywood would be like, okay, well, if we make a 30 or a $40 million or a 10 million, like we can make more movies instead of the huge budget ones. And I even think like main actors like Leonardo DiCaprio and George Clooney, like, you know, One Battle for Another was absolutely incredible this year. To hear that wasn't a success is painful.
Yeah. I
So
know.
it's like, you know what? Maybe the lead actors don't make 25 and their agents don't come after them or don't come after the studios to get their quote.
Yeah.
The main actors need to kind of pull it back too and be like, okay, we've all made a ton of money.
It's a lot.
Like,
How many yachts do you need?
exactly. Like, can we pull that budget back and make these movies more affordable so that we're not constantly losing money in this whole industry?
Yeah, Warner Brothers earlier this year announced that they're committing to making more mid-range budget films.
But if they get bought, will they?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But they said they want to make mid-range budget and more original stories because of the success of Sinners and Weapons. I mean, Warner Brothers had a great year so far. They'll still make the big tentpole things. Like Minecraft got them over $1 billion. They're obviously going to make Minecraft's everything every year. But I think I can't remember what other studio. It might have been Paramount. Said they committed to the same kind of thing because they're investing so much in these big blockbusters that if they don't make $700 million, they're losing money, which is insane. And the industry was never like that. Even like the big event movies we loved were never even adjusted for inflation this high of a budget.
And
So
it's crazy that they ballooned to this much.
yeah, it's
Like,
because
it
they
shouldn't be that, because it's all the cameras and all like how much VFX is
Yeah.
and all this stuff. It's like,
once movies started making $1 billion, they were like, we need to try to hit $1 billion every time. How do we get that? Well, these movies cost $300 million, so we just got to keep making $300 million movies, then we can make $1 billion. And when it doesn't work out, they get screwed, and they're deep in the red.
yeah.
And that's what we've been seeing the last 5 years.
Yeah, there's so many factors. I mean, the streaming platforms emerging at the time that the superhero boom peaked at the same time, and then quality digresses. Output is just way too high for what people want. I mean, we've talked about this 100 times on the show. There's so many factors. But at the end of the day, if you make a good movie, people will show up. But will they show up like they used to? Like One Battle only making $200 million at the box office on a huge budget.
And being Paul Thomas Anderson's biggest success.
Yes.
Is still.
It
like,
sucks
what?
to hear,
Yeah.
but at the same time, we're so happy it got made.
100%.
You know, it's going to be fantastic. And also, that's leading a boom of VistaVision cameras coming back. You know, that and the Brutalist got people really excited for VistaVision. Movies are shooting on it right now. And a couple... Begonia came out. That shot on VistaVision. So, film's coming back. We were just at Kodak today in West Hollywood, which was super fun to do some research on our upcoming
We were in their
shoot.
storage room. It was so cool.
That's where I buy my Super 8 all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
nice.
awesome.
Nice.
So there's a lot of things happening, and I think that independent film is going to come back in a big way. It boomed in the '90s in America, of course, especially with PTA and Tarantino and filmmakers like that. But I can see, we've had a few conversations with people in the industry where they see content creators on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube are literally right now, it's happening, making movies that are getting distribution in theaters. It's going to keep happening. And I think that's where creativity is right now. In studio, the execs got to stop. Hopefully, they don't keep doubling down on $400 million budget. I'm sure we'll make money back from that. Where can we sprinkle this out? Like, there's creators with great ideas. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they're cooking. Give them $1 million to make a movie. We can make
Give us $1 million.
We can make a movie for $100K tomorrow. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, come on.
Easy.
Exactly.
Easy.
You can make a lot of movies for under 500,000 in my opinion.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully it's starting to happen and it's trending that way. It seems like, and I mean, it's great to see movies like The Baltimorons coming out. And
Thank you.
it was awesome, man. I had so much fun, and it reminds me of how you're taking real life parts of your story and putting in the film. Bradley Cooper with Is This Thing On? Was it Will Arnett told him about the story where it's based on a guy who actually walked through into a comedy store, didn't want to pay the cover, so he just said he was on the stand-up list, and then his wife sees a performance of him doing a bit about her.
Yeah,
it was
It
crazy.
was based on a UK footballer, that he had met, who told him the story, and then he told it to Bradley, and they were like, "Let's make this movie."
It's a great human
Yeah.
story.
It's a great human story. It's
incredible.
just got to keep making them.
It's an awesome movie. Have you
Yeah.
seen it?
I was supposed to see it in Stockholm Film Festival,
Ah.
but then I got to have dinner with Alexander Skarsgård, so I
That's a good
That's
alternative.
pretty cool.
So I
Name
did that
drop.
instead.
There's the tall man.
Yeah,
There's the tall
he's
man.
very tall. He's a very tall man, very kind man, and he was awesome.
Have you
Really-
seen Pilion?
I have not. So they were doing a screening there,
Uh-huh.
and during the dinner is when the movie was showing. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, me and Allie are just buddies.
That's so cool.
And
Allie.
yeah, no, but he was awesome.
That's
So
great.
cool.
That movie looks really interesting. Him and
Yeah.
Harry Melling they play well off each other.
Yeah.
We love the Skarsgårds, all of them.
yeah.
And
I mean,
Stellan's the man.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sentimental Value either, but I'm
dying to see it.
to see that.
But is this thing on? Fantastic.
yes, I
It's
really
so
want to see
good.
it.
It's one of the best movies about relationships I've seen in years. It was absolutely unbelievable. So good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, well, why don't we wrap this episode up, guys?
great.
Hey, this was awesome. Baltimorons on AMC Plus is now streaming.
Or rent it if
Or
you have
rent it,
it
yeah,
streaming.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
only
I mean,
$7.
Yeah,
Right.
$7.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
It's a great holiday film, super relatable. Michael, thanks so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you for having me.
Take care, everybody.
See you next time.
See you guys.
This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Nicholas Martin and Jacob Kossler. Raiders of the Lost podcast is a Mirror Image production.